Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Eddie Marcus again. I've often said that my concern for peace and prosperity and joy for every human being on the earth is an expression of a higher love than our love, as we as people understand love to mean, that comes through me, that's reaching out to all of the spirits that lies within each of you all over the land. That spirit is calling you to stand up, to be alive, to be life, the life that you are, to pull off the deception and walk amongst the living. And I know sometimes, ladies and gentlemen, I've said that I never intended to preach, and I never did intend to preach. But I find that speaking to the people and telling the people the truth ends up being preaching. And since it ends up being preaching, since it is what I am, I do want to invite every last one of you back home. I want to invite you back to the Father. I want to invite you back where peace reigns supreme. I want to invite you back. You've been out here now. You see what it is all about. And I'd like to share with you from hell to paradise. In the beginning was all laid out. Everything that man could ever want, everything that man could ever need, and no hardships appeared to be there. That is because man was walking in the line with truth. Man was walking in line with tradition. Man was walking in line with the spirit of life for which man is made of. That's that substance. So there would be nothing that man could not achieve. Only one requirement outside of being real, and that is that you do not violate what I have instructed you not to do. Don't eat off the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Because in the day that you do, you will surely die. I don't know how deep you went in explaining that to Adam. I don't know if Adam even know what that meant. However, I would think he had some idea, because for a while he did not violate that command. But suddenly, deception came upon the scene. One who had been cast from heaven earlier. And I'm sure the requirement was the same. The day that you violate my rule, heavenly rule, you will surely die. So that day, that angel of light and a third of the host of heaven supposedly was kicked out. Death from love, because something came in between love. You know what it is. I'm sure you know what it is. And so the power to control lies in that one. And that's the one that entered into that garden and deceived the people. And that is the one that is deceiving the people today. When we lose that protection of love, then anything can happen, because we're open now for choices. Usually we can learn from the mistakes, pros and cons, going into a situation. Learn if it's good, maintain it. If it's not, discard it. But then when deception plays a role in that, by the time you make a choice to discard something, the lie comes along and make that seem better than where you plan to go. Deception. And you don't know what truth is. You don't instinctively know what truth is. You have chosen to experience. And then many of us having experienced this still does not learn. However, when we have chosen to walk this way, in America, all over the globe, we're walking after the deception. All of the things that we desire in life was meant to happen right here on this planet. But the deception got so big till it might be impossible for us to do it here on this earth right now unless the masses of the people had a change of heart, had a change of spirit, had a change of love. What is the reason behind all of the hell we see in the world today? What is the reason you have some so rich beyond measure and some equally poor beyond measure? What is the force behind that? You want me to tell you what the force behind that is? It is selfishness. What is the force behind one nation being so great and another nation being destitute? What is the force behind that? It is selfishness. What is it that would say that one race of people is superior to another race? It is selfishness. What is it that says that one nation of people, specifically the Jew, is superior to any other nation of people? It is selfishness. So what is the reason for crime and violence that comes out of poverty? What is it for crime and violence that comes out of greed? What is it that causes terrorism and war? What is the power behind it? It is selfishness. We have heard it said that money is the root of all evil. Having experienced life, reaching out with my own heart to receive from God what it does mean to me. And I say that money has to take a seat to the side now, because the motivator, the root of all evil, is selfishness. Money becomes a tool whereby more selfishness can be implemented and created. Selfishness. But what is it that love is? Love is the absence of selfishness. Selfishness will go to the extreme to do anything for self. Even take your life. But love, the absence of selfishness, will go to any extreme to make it all right wherever it's needed. That's love. That's the stuff we're made of. That is why and how we were supposed to live here on the planet Earth. Now we are being awakened to know that this which we didn't know now is becoming knowledge. What are we going to do? How do we stand up against the devil that owns every force that can be used to violate human beings? Own all the guns, own all the poisons, all the nuclear stuff. Owns it. And its people work for it. How can? The question becomes mute when you think about God. When you think about God. Now, if there were enough of us who were awakened at the time, there's nothing, there's no bomb that could harm us. There's no fire that can harm us. There's no violence that could overcome us. Now, if the masses of us are not awakened, we are still asleep. Yes, then those of us who walk according to the will of God will be allowed to escape this nightmare and go into a dimension of life that is superior by far to anything that can be offered here. Now, that is love. Now, I didn't say you were going to heaven. You're not going to heaven because you're not ready for heaven. Heaven, you heard it said, which is a lie, that somebody died on the cross for you. And that debt has already been paid. So you don't really have to die. All you have to do is believe. Well, let me tell you something. That is the stuff for which being kicked out of heaven grows on. Because if somebody has given you heaven as they gave it to Adam and Eve, you don't know how to keep it. But if you have to go out there in the world and make a choice between heaven and hell, and you choose heaven, ain't nobody nowhere gonna make you turn your back on heaven again. Because you know the lie before it's told. You can see the lie walking up to you. And you can just say, ain't that something? Here comes that lie. But then when that lie gets to you, it looks at you and changes its mind. It knows there's no way are you going for it. And it doesn't have to open its mouth. So I'm saying to you, the difference between heaven and hell. I'm saying to you, from hell to paradise. Be born again. Love. Pull off that selfishness and love. Love. Everything that you have, you would give it to the world just as freely as you smile. Why? Because that's what love is. And you finally have learned. Teach the world what love is. And we'll be all right. Now I'm going to leave that with you. You take that, I know it's some good stuff, and do with it as the Spirit leads you to do. And I'll be coming back, I'm sure, with something else probably later on this evening. I just can't leave you alone. I know the pain that you're suffering, even though there are spurts of good times. But I know even more how wonderful it is in the city. And I want to invite you to the city of love. Bye-bye.